One of the options inside of the custom component is the summary. The summary is similar to the card component, except it has the option of adding multiple summary values inside of the component. In this example, we will take a look at a very basic sales table, which consists of some items, cost, and status. We'll add a summary so we can see the total sales today, and also the percentage of the sales that were shipped. We'll briefly touch upon how to create your own custom helper in order for us to calculate the percentage of the orders shipped. We'll start by adding a new custom component and choosing the summary option. Finally, we'll choose a data table that contains the sales data. Inside of the data source, you'll notice that we can add multiple calculations, and each set of calculations can contain its own conditions. Each time you add a calculation, you must set the field name. The field name is what will be used inside of the template and therefore must be unique for each function. We will add a new calculation to count all the records where the date is today. Next, we'll add a second calculation to count all the records where the status is shipped and the date is today. We'll rename the field from total to shipped, since they must be unique. We now have two values which we can use inside of the template. Inside the template, let's choose a card design from within the library. We'll make a few minor wording adjustments and change the static value to the field value we defined in the data source. If we preview the page now, you will now see a new card added to the top of the page with the total sales listed at the top. In the bottom progress bar, now it's showing the total sales with a percentage sign. What we actually want is to show the percentage of sales which were shipped today. To add this dynamic calculation, we must create a new custom helper. The goal here is not to teach you JavaScript, rather introduce you to a simple and practical example of using custom helpers. Custom helpers must be created inside the page level or the footer level. They cannot be added inside of the JavaScript of the custom components. To create a custom helper, we must first register the helper with JavaScript, and we do that with handlebars.registerHelper. This register helper requires two arguments. The first one is just the name of the helper, which can be anything we decide. The second one will be the callback function. Any values we need to pass to the callback function can be added inside of the function. In our example, we want to know the total orders that were created today and how many of them were shipped. We will then create a variable that will calculate the total orders that were shipped versus the total orders that were received today. Finally, let's return this value. That's all it takes to create your own custom helper. To actually use this helper, let's go back into the component, and if you recall from an earlier video, to use a custom helper, you first set the helper name, then pass all the values it requires. In our case, we named the helper %, and designated that it requires two values, the total and the shipped. If we save and preview now, you will see that it will calculate correctly the total orders shipped versus the total orders received today.